John Whittaker stood in the imposing Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, his heart heavy with grief. He held his beloved dog, Charlie, now lifeless, the victim of a cold and calculated decision by the Council. The vast chamber buzzed with tension as representatives from countless species observed the scene, their expressions a mix of indifference and curiosity. "Commander Whittaker, we have deemed the presence of your pet a significant biohazard," intoned High Chancellor Drether, his voice echoing through the hall. "Its termination was necessary for the safety of the Council." John's gaze hardened as he looked at Drether. Charlie was not just a pet. He was a companion, a symbol of hope for my crew. "You had no right." The Chancellor's eyes remained impassive. "Our decision is final. This matter is closed." John turned on his heel, cradling Charlie gently, and marched out of the hall, the weight of his loss pressing down on him. His crew, waiting anxiously outside, gathered around as he emerged. Lieutenant Sarah Nolan, his second-in-command, stepped forward, her eyes filled with empathy. "We're with you, John," she said softly. "Whatever you decide." In the privacy of the Odyssey's command room, John gathered his senior officers. The air was thick with a mix of grief and simmering anger. The holographic display showed a map of their current location in the neutral territory of Xanther, but John's focus was elsewhere. "The Galactic Council has overstepped," John began, his voice steady but laced with emotion. "They killed Charlie without just cause, and they've shown no respect for us. This can't go unanswered." Commander Liam Harrington, John's closest friend and trusted advisor, nodded. "We need to show them that humanity won't be pushed around. But we can't act rashly. We need a plan." John's eyes glinted with determination. "We have the mother spaceship within the Odyssey. It's time we use it. But first, we need allies." Over the next few days, John and his team reached out to other species who had suffered under the Council's rule. Each conversation added to their growing coalition. From the reptilian Zorathians, who had seen their homeworld stripped of resources, to the ethereal Elorians, whose cultural heritage had been disrespected, the alliance grew stronger. Back on the Odyssey, John addressed his crew. "We're not just fighting for Charlie. We're fighting for every species that's been wronged by the Council. We're fighting for justice." The crew responded with a resounding cheer, their resolve solidified. The time had come to unveil the mother spaceship. In a dramatic reveal, the mother spaceship emerged from the heart of the Odyssey. Its sleek design and advanced weaponry were a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. The crew marveled at its power, their confidence bolstered by the sight. John stood at the helm, his gaze steely. "We strike at the Council's outer defenses first. Show them we mean business." The initial skirmishes were swift and decisive. John's tactical brilliance shone through as he led the mother spaceship in precise attacks, dismantling the Council's defenses. Each victory bolstered the morale of their growing coalition. As they regrouped after a particularly intense battle, an unexpected message arrived from a previously neutral species, the enigmatic Vortexians. Known for their technological prowess and strategic neutrality, their offer of assistance was a significant boon. "We have watched your struggle," their leader, Zareth, communicated through a holographic link. "We believe it is time for change. We will stand with you." With their numbers and strength increasing, John and his allies prepared for the final assault. The Galactic Council, now aware of the growing threat, began to fortify their positions. The stakes were higher than ever. As the crew of the Odyssey readied themselves for the final confrontation, John took a moment to remember Charlie. The memory of his loyal companion fueled his determination. He knew that the fight ahead would not be easy, but it was necessary. The mother spaceship glided through the void, its sleek frame a testament to human engineering. On board, John Whittaker reviewed the latest intelligence reports with his senior officers. Each member of his team was absorbed in their tasks, but the underlying tension was clear. They were about to embark on a mission that would decide their fate. John's voice cut through the silence. "We have identified several key targets within the Council's outer defenses. Our first objective is to neutralize their communication hubs. If we can disrupt their coordination, we'll have a significant advantage. Lieutenant Sarah Nolan nodded, her fingers dancing over the console. Coordinates locked. We're ready when you are, Commander. John looked around at his team, each one a picture of resolve. Let's move out. The mother spaceship launched a series of precise strikes, targeting the communication hubs with surgical accuracy. The crew worked seamlessly, their training and discipline evident in every move. As explosions rippled through the Council's defenses, John allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. They were making progress. Back on the bridge, an incoming transmission caught John's attention. The holographic image of Zareth, the Vortexian leader, materialized before him. Zareth's expression was grave. Commander Whitaker, we've detected unusual activity near the Council's central command. It appears they're mobilizing a new weapon. We have limited information, but it's imperative that you proceed with caution. John acknowledged the warning. Understood, Zareth. We'll adjust our strategy accordingly. As the transmission ended, John addressed his crew. We need to be prepared for anything. Stay sharp and follow the protocols. We can't afford any mistakes. The next phase of their mission took them deeper into enemy territory. The mother spaceship maneuvered through treacherous space, avoiding minefields and automated turrets. John's mind raced with calculations, each decision critical to their success. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up a massive energy surge. An enormous vessel, unlike any they had encountered before, emerged from the darkness. It was the Council's hidden weapon, and it dwarfed the mother spaceship. John's heart pounded. All hands, brace for impact. Prepare to engage. The ensuing battle was fierce. The enemy ship unleashed a barrage of energy beams, and the mother spaceship retaliated with its own advanced weaponry. John's crew worked tirelessly, their coordination and skill turning the tide in their favor. Commander Harrington's voice crackled over the intercom. We've sustained damage to the lower decks, but we're holding. Keep up the pressure. John's eyes flickered to the tactical display. Target their propulsion systems. If we can cripple their movement, we'll have an opening. With precision and determination, the mother spaceship delivered a critical blow, striking the enemy vessel's engines. The colossal ship shuddered, its power waning. Seizing the opportunity, John ordered a final assault, and the enemy ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light. As the debris settled, John took a deep breath. The immediate threat was neutralized, but the war was far from over. The Council's forces were vast, and their resolve unyielding. John's crew gathered on the bridge, exhaustion etched on their faces, but also a spark of hope. We've taken a significant step, John said, his voice firm. But we must remain vigilant. The Council will retaliate, and we need to be ready. The atmosphere was electric with determination. John knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but he had faith in his team and their cause. As they prepared for the next phase of their mission, John's thoughts turned to the allies they had gained and the battles yet to come. The aftermath of the battle left the crew of the mother spaceship weary but resolute. John Whitaker stood on the bridge, reviewing the damage reports. The recent victory had come at a cost, but their morale was intact. He knew they couldn't afford to lose momentum. Commander, the Vortexians have sent reinforcements, Lieutenant Sarah Nolan reported, her voice steady despite the exhaustion etched on her face. They're en route to our location. John nodded, appreciating the support of their new allies. We need to consolidate our forces and prepare for the next phase. The Council won't stay passive for long. Commander Liam Harrington, who had sustained injuries during the previous engagement, joined them. His presence was a reminder of the sacrifices they were making. We have to strike while they're still reeling from the loss of their weapon, he suggested. John agreed. Our next target is their command center. Without it, they'll be severely crippled. The team set to work, coordinating with the Vortexians and other allied forces. Each step required careful planning and precise execution. They couldn't afford any missteps. As they prepared for the assault, John took a moment to address his crew. We've come far, and we've faced incredible challenges. But this next step is crucial. We take down their command, we cut off the head of the serpent. The crew's determination was palpable, their resolve unwavering. They knew the stakes and the potential cost, but they were committed to the cause. The mother spaceship and its allied fleet moved into position, ready to launch the attack. The enemy's command center was heavily fortified, but John had a plan. Utilizing their advanced technology and the element of surprise, they initiated the assault. The battle was fierce, each side trading heavy blows. John's tactical prowess was on full display as he maneuvered their forces with precision. The enemy's defenses were formidable, but the combined might of the Allied fleet began to wear them down. Inside the command center, chaos reigned as the Council's leaders scrambled to respond. John seized the opportunity to lead a boarding party, aiming to capture the Council's top officials and end their reign. John and his team breached the command center's defenses, engaging in intense close-quarters combat. The corridors echoed with the sounds of conflict, the air thick with the scent of smoke and ozone. Commander Harrington, despite his injuries, fought valiantly by John's side. They moved with purpose, their goal clear. As they advanced, they encountered the Council's elite guards, but John's strategic mind and the crew's training proved superior. They reached the central chamber where the Council's leaders were holed up. John's heart pounded as he kicked open the door, his weapon at the ready. Inside, the Council's top officials were frantically attempting to orchestrate their forces. "Your time is up," John declared, his voice steady. "Surrender now, and you might live to see the consequences of your actions." The Council's leader, High Chancellor Drether, glared at John with a mix of defiance and fear. "You think you can defeat us? You're just a human." John stepped forward, his resolve unshakable. "We are not just humans. We are united, and we stand for justice. Your tyranny ends here." With coordinated precision, John's team disarmed the Council's leaders and secured the command center. The remaining enemy forces, leaderless and disorganized, began to falter. Back on the mother spaceship, the news of their victory spread quickly. Cheers erupted as the crew celebrated their hard-won success. John allowed himself a moment of relief, knowing they had dealt a critical blow to their adversaries. As the dust settled, John addressed his crew. "We've taken a major step forward, but our mission isn't over. We must remain vigilant and continue to work with our allies to ensure lasting peace and justice." The atmosphere on the ship was one of cautious optimism. They had achieved a significant victory, but John knew the road ahead would still be challenging. They had made their mark, but the fight for true freedom and justice was ongoing. The final hours of the battle had left the crew of the mother spaceship both victorious and exhausted. John Whitaker stood on the command bridge, the subdued hum of the ship's systems providing a backdrop to the strategic discussions taking place. They had dealt a critical blow to the Galactic Council, but the fight was far from over. Lieutenant Sarah Nolan, her eyes sharp despite the fatigue, approached John with the latest reports. "Commander, we've secured the Council's command center. The remaining forces are in disarray, but intelligence suggests they might regroup for a counterattack." John nodded, processing the information quickly. "We need to solidify our position, inform our allies to maintain their vigilance. The Council won't go down without a final struggle." As the crew carried out their orders, John's thoughts turned to the future. The recent victories had been hard-won, and the cost was evident in the faces of his team. He walked through the corridors of the mother spaceship, pausing to offer words of encouragement and gratitude to those he passed. Each gesture, each acknowledgement, reinforced the unity and resolve that had brought them this far. In the medical bay, Commander Liam Harrington was recovering from his injuries. Despite his weakened state, his spirit remained indomitable. John sat beside him, their bond of friendship a silent testament to their shared history and sacrifices. "We've come a long way, John," Harrington said, his voice steady despite the pain. "But the Council still has resources. They'll try to regroup." John agreed. "We need to cut off their ability to retaliate. We've already dismantled their primary command structure. Now we target their supply lines and any remaining strongholds." Harrington's eyes met John's, filled with unwavering trust. We'll finish this, John. For Charlie, for everyone. The next phase of their plan was set into motion. The Allied fleets, bolstered by the recent victories and the morale boost, launched coordinated strikes against the Council's supply chains. Each move was calculated, precise, aimed at weakening the enemy's capacity to sustain a prolonged conflict. In the midst of these operations, a message arrived from Zareth, the Vortexian leader. The holographic image conveyed a sense of urgency. Commander Whitaker, we've intercepted communications suggesting that the Council is planning a last-ditch effort to regain control. They're amassing what remains of their fleet for a decisive strike. John's response was immediate. We'll meet them head-on, coordinate with our allies. This will be the final battle. The Allied forces assembled, their ships forming an impressive armada. The scene was a testament to the unity and determination of the diverse species fighting for a common cause. As they approached the designated battleground, the anticipation was palpable. The Council's fleet appeared on the horizon, a menacing display of their remaining power. The two forces faced off, the void between them a silent prelude to the impending clash. John's voice rang out across the bridge. All units, prepare for engagement. This is our moment. We fight for justice, for freedom, for our fallen comrades. The battle erupted with a ferocity that shook the stars. Energy beams and projectile weapons lit up the space, creating a dazzling display of tactical maneuvers and raw power. John's strategic brilliance guided the Allied forces, each decision turning the tide further in their favor. Amidst the chaos, the mother spaceship led the charge, its advanced weaponry and resilient shields proving crucial. John's leadership was a beacon, his commands clear and decisive, inspiring those around him to give their all. The Council's fleet, despite its initial aggression, began to falter under the relentless assault. John saw the opening he needed. Focus fire on their flagship. We end this now. The coordinated attack was devastating. The Council's flagship, the heart of their remaining command, shuddered under the onslaught. Explosions ripped through its structure, and with one final cataclysmic burst it was destroyed. Silence fell over the battlefield as the remnants of the Council's fleet surrendered. The victory was complete. The Allied forces had triumphed. Back on the mother spaceship, the mood was one of jubilant relief. John addressed his crew, his voice filled with pride. We've achieved something extraordinary today. We've not only defeated the Council but also paved the way for a future free from tyranny. Our unity and courage have brought us here. The crew erupted in cheers, their spirits lifted by the enormity of their accomplishment. John's heart swelled with a mixture of relief and resolve. The battle was won, but the task of rebuilding and ensuring lasting peace lay ahead. In the days that followed, the Allied species began the process of establishing a new order, one based on cooperation and mutual respect. John and his team played a crucial role in these efforts, their actions a guiding light for others to follow. As John stood on the observation deck, gazing out at the stars, he reflected on the journey that had brought them here. The sacrifices, the battles, the alliances, they had all led to this moment. With the future stretching out before them, John knew that the spirit of unity and justice they had forged would guide them through whatever lay ahead.